We're doing the thing now. This is so. This is the greatest moment of my life.
Don't say that. You're very sweet.
I know I get that a lot.
All right.
How are you doing on this fine day?
I'm good. It's really coming down in terms of snow. My daughter is not here, which kind of allows me a little bit more free time to do fun stuff like this. Because when she is here, I don't really get to, our weekends are really precious. So I'm happy I could get this time.
Awesome. I am. I mean it. This is. God damn these buds. I have weird ears, so no, this is seriously a great moment. I'm so glad you're doing this with me.
Yeah, happy to.
And I feel this is a chance to for your fans to get to know you better.
Hmm.
I know we all love OWD,
Aw, thank
and
you. Well, yeah, I mean, OWD is really just, a facet of my life and, different people bring out different sides of you, and Patrick and I have been friends for so long, and that's sort of, our energy has been like that. But obviously I'm, different when I'm with my daughter or different when I'm with my girlfriends, or with family. So yeah, I think it's fun to have a chat without Patricia yelling in my ear, quite honestly.
well,
Um,
I, I'm in the Facebook group as well. A few people call me Straight Patrick bec-
All
because
right,
we
that's a good one.
because well, I have the exact opposite voice that he does.
Yeah, you're Joe. You're a little more calming, a little more soothing. Yes, I
Uh,
will. You probably have a great voice for podcasting. Um, Patrick and I's voice, you got it's an acquired taste.
I don't, well, I don't know. Patrick, listening to Patrick does bring out a different side of me too. Like it's definitely not a bad thing.
No, oh no. I mean, um, you know, we actually the biggest compliment that we get is when people tell us that they feel like they're just hanging out with friends, and that they feel like they're, that we talk just like their friends, and that's sort of the best compliment, because we're just, obviously that's us at a 10, and we're really excited to record and be together and talk and banter and have fun. But if you were just to catch us, in the before times at a bar, that's, pretty much what you would get, is very, very similar to any episode of OWD. So yeah, that's it. I love it when people say that. That's like honestly the highest compliment.
Well, I know you two met in college. Was it like this right off the bat with you two?
Yes, because Patrick likes to say that I was too cool for him. Oh, look at the glass. Look at the cup. Look at the cup. He's representing. For those of you who are listening and not watching, he's holding our merch cup, which I love them because they're the bigger size.
I love the bigger size too,
Oh,
but
hold on. I forgot my coffee. All right, I'm going to take you with me. So people at home will watch a Blair Witchy thing, but people on the podcast won't get a big dead silence. So the thing about Patrick, um, in college was that he says he for me to be his friend. So it was always, why don't you want me to be your friend? Why can't you be my friend? I'm really funny. I'm really cool. And he honestly makes me out to be, I got this especially for today. This is Stumptown cold brew with oat milk chocolate. I have never tried it,
ooh.
but I'm very, very excited. I got it just for today.
Well, I was
So
saving my.
yes, so
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was just
oh
gonna
no, I
say.
was just gonna say our dynamic has sort of always been exactly like that. Him very desperate for my attention.
And do you always have the quips with him?
Yeah, this is what's so funny that OWD gets, is that we actually talked about this on a Friday Night Live once. Patrick and I, we have a very laugh at our pain kind of mentality, both of us. His mother went through cancer. I went through, a divorce. We've just seen each other through ups and downs. And though we're both very sensitive people, we both really, really rely on laughter to get us through difficult times. So, yes, we have always been very quippy, and him and he laughs at it. But it's really, I think it took a lot of people some time to get used to our dynamic. But it's truly just us. But if either one of us, needed, to hide a body, we would be the first person there, Yeah.
Well, are you talking about it took the listeners a while to get used to you?
I think people that came from TCO that were really used to Patrick and Jillian's dynamic took it a little, people got very defensive of Patrick, and they said, "Who is this woman making fun of Patrick?" And we were like, that's us. Get on board. It's us. That's 20 years of us. Welcome.
Well,
by the way, cheers. Coffee cheers.
Cheers.
Coffee with Joe.
I was going to say this one is one I've been saving for this episode because I've done several episodes where I've gotten a different flavor from Bones Coffee Company, and they do many like different like flavors, like whatever. This is a cookies and cream flavored coffee.
I love.
Yeah. But
got a little.
Sorry, you froze for a minute. My internet.
Oh yeah, you froze on my side. You know what's funny, Joe? My ex-husband has a coffee company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that we started together, and it's actually delicious and amazing. And
the super hot British guy.
Well, his hotness is very, very questionable, Joe. I don't look at him like that anymore. But thanks for taking Patrick's side. Yeah, he's a pain in the ass and everything, but he's a really good guy, and he's a really good dad. But his coffee, honestly, is incredible. Really, really incredible.
Yeah, but Bones Coffee, they come up with like different names. Like they have a s'more flavored coffee that's called S'morey Time.
That sounds so good.
There's one called From Dusk Till Donuts, which is glazed jelly donut flavored, which is actually tastes better than you might think.
Actually, I think that sounds incredible no matter what.
But the name they come up with this one is called Cookies and Dreams.
Love it.
So
I also have to tell everyone at home, you're wearing a very, oh wait, you know what it says? Your shirt says America needs a cup of Joe, but is that a Joe Biden? Or did you have
big cup of Joe?
Oh, a big cup of Joe. Did you have that made, or is that a Joe Biden shirt?
I got it for Christmas.
It's so perfect.
I know. It goes both ways.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love it.
Like me. No.
That was a very Patrick joke, Joe. I love it.
It could. I don't know. Patrick could bring that out of me if. Don't let him hear this, although he probably will. But he did call me hot in the Facebook group.
Aww.
So I am touched.
The 4 other guys, Joe, we're very, very supportive, and we're very, very grateful for you.
I truly, that's what I love about the Facebook group. Like you talk about the friendship you and Patrick have, it's kind of bled over into like among everyone in the group with each other.
Yeah, I do love that. That actually really makes me happy because I do think it's probably a little bit of us, but a little bit of the time that, the podcast dropped and where we all are emotionally. And it really genuinely makes me so happy to see people finding friends and finding support and finding camaraderie, because people right now are so myself included, so lonely and isolated. And even if you do see, a couple people or friends or people at work, it's just not the same. So I love that the Facebook group has provided that element of support. To people. It makes me so happy. And people message me all the time and say how much the podcast has meant, or the group, or the support, and I can't say enough that I get just as much out of it. I lost my job too, and I lost my community, and my stepdad has cancer. I can't see my family. So for every message of love and support, I just want to send it just all right back, because even though we are the source of entertainment, we're still people going through this traumatic time too.
No, you definitely mean a lot to a lot of people, and I'm drawing a blank on where I was going. Forgive
That's
me.
okay. We're just chatting. We're just hanging out. No problem.
It's the best. But I was gonna say, like, talking about the quips you come up with. How do you just come up with them off the top of your head?
I'll say something and I'll say, wait, I can think of something better. and Patrick says this sometimes. Sometimes we get tickled by each other, and we have to edit it for time, because we can go on, and then sometimes we'll find something and we'll laugh. Oh, well, there's the joke. and it'll take us a minute. And sometimes Patrick, I probably throw out like 5 or 6 things, and he'll keep like 1 or 2. So it's really process of elimination.
Yeah, I've come up with a few I wanted to pitch by you. Okay. Forgive people watching. Forgives. This keeps freezing, but
does it?
Yeah.
Let me.
No. I think it happens every time I record.
Oh.
So it might be my internet, but for the most part, it comes out. So we'll roll with it.
Rolling with the punches. Yeah. What was one time I said something, and I said, I think I heard that from a drag queen once. Like, it'll just be in the back of your head, and you'll say something like, where did I hear that? Did I hear that, or did I make that up? I can't remember.
I know the one that got mentioned in the group, but people said it came from, I think, Kathy Griffin, was, I don't come to where you work and slap the dick out of your mouth.
No, I think I heard that from a drag queen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Did they say that was Kathy Griffin?
I don't know.
I think because I said that in notoriously savage, because they're just ready for it, right? And drag is such a fun art form that I love. And maybe that was, I don't know. I do love Kathy Griffin, but I admittedly haven't seen any of her stand up in a really long time, but that very well may be true.
Okay. But I came up with a few myself that I want to run by you.
All right, give it to me.
All right. Did you send me your resume? Because why are you trying to be all up in my business?
That's a good one.
I kind of took that from, like, you shared something in your story of like sending out W-2s to all the people who were in my business last year.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of reworked that.
That's funny.
There's one that from the movie Olympus Has Fallen.
I haven't seen that one.
Gerard Butler says it. Why don't you and I play a game of fuck off? You go first.
Yeah, that's a good one. Anything where I was doing one the other day and it didn't really work out. I was saying like, what was I saying? I was saying go on kayak.com and find out where fuck is and off to it or something. It like didn't work out. It didn't work out. Whatever I was saying, because sometimes I'll just like try and work it in and I'm like, no, cut that. That's not funny.
Okay, here's another one. If you're going to come for me, why don't you go away from me at the corner of fuck and off?
I I like corner of fucking off. I like that. That's a good one. You need to put that in the group. That's a really good one. Or turn it into a meme.
All right. And last one. Why don't you make like a dildo and go fuck yourself?
Okay.
Oh.
Did you make that up?
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I might steal it. Joe, if I steal any, I'll give you credit. I promise.
Well, people are going to hear it here or see it here, so
they'll know where it originated.
Oh my God. But
what else?
So
how long have you been doing this podcast?
Well, this podcast, I started it in, I think 2019.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, I started podcasting in general in 2019. This incarnation of it, the Let's Have a Cup of Joe, was started like back in November because I basically cleared up the previous one I had did because that was like really inconsistent and a whole different variety of stuff I did on there. But you know, I ended up clearing that up and rebranding it as this, where I just talk to a different person each week.
Yeah.
About whatever.
I hope you saved it though, because it's always fun to see your evolution and, you know, see sort of where you came from and how much better you've gotten. You know, that's with everything. So I hope you saved them and I hope you didn't delete them.
I saved one of them because it was one we did where it was like 5 of us and it was just kind of off the rails.
Okay.
So
it was too much. It was too much.
It was like over an hour and a half long and just us like off the top of our heads talking about whatever, and we went to some weird places with it, but
gotta steer the ship. Yeah, we always try, you know, with OWD and with, obviously I'm such a huge podcast listener. We always try and keep it, you know, down in terms of time, because we'll record maybe an hour 20 or an hour and a half, and then I think the episode will be about 50 minutes. And you know, sometimes it's going back or stumbling or stumbling over our words. Although Patrick does like to keep in when I stumble over my words, and you know, especially in the ads.
Well, I do that with aside from this, I have 2 other podcasts I do.
Oh, wow.
I have a mental health podcast, which I co-host with a friend of mine named Allison. And I have a true crime podcast, which is called Behaving Badly. And
you froze for a second. What is that one called? What is the true crime one called?
Behaving Badly.
Behaving Badly. And what does it focus on?
Wide variety. I've done 3 episodes so far. I'm working on my 4th. Mm-hmm. I did an episode on Lou Pearlman.
Wait, Lou Pearlman, that's something to do with sports, right?
No.
Lou Pearlman.
Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
That's it. I knew the name. I knew. Yes. Oh my gosh. What a garbage human. Oh my God. What a piece of shit. Horrible.
Yeah, Patrick and Jillian talked about that on TCO.
Did they?
The boy band con documentary.
Oh yeah. I feel like I've been a fan of TCO since day one, literally day one, when they, you know, Patrick was like, download this, be a subscriber. Oops, hold on.
Did it unplug?
Yeah, one sec. I'm a little too violent with.
Not hearing you. Oh no.
There we go. We're back. We're back. Okay. Yeah, there's just been so many episodes. Sometimes Patrick will say, oh, we did that on TCO. And I have to go in my Rolodex of all the episodes. I'm like, no, but the Lou Pearlman one, that is so fascinating. Okay, so this is my favorite question to ask. What is your favorite true crime case that you could just Google and go on a deep dive? And what true crime case would you want to know the answer to? You could only have one. You want to know exactly what happened.
You just did it. on the podcast, the Springfield 3.
That's the one that you
It keeps free. It froze again. I'm sorry. What do you say?
I said, is that your both answer to both question? Is that the one you take a deep dive on, or the one you really, really want?
It's the one I want to know the answer to. The one I take a deep dive on is, have you heard of the Boys on the Tracks case?
Maybe.
It was featured in a very early episode of Unsolved Mysteries back in the day.
Okay.
And it's one of those, at the end of the segment, there's not much answer.
Uh-huh.
But you look into it, there's a book on the case called The Boys on the Tracks.
Mm-hmm.
It goes so fucking big.
Yeah.
And so it's still technically unsolved, but it's one where people have an idea of who's responsible and what happened. And
yeah, that's your one you really, really wanna find out.
I've done some that's the one I've done deep dives into.
Right. But I know
but the one I want the absolute definite answer to is a Springfield 3.
Mm-hmm.
And
crazy
everyone says like Maura Murray and John Bonet. I get it, but like those are.
I'm pretty confident I know what happened to Jean Bonnet. I feel pretty good about about what happened. It's tragic and horrible, but I feel like there are more puzzling cases. Ones that have absolutely no leads or anything. But yeah.
Yeah, John Bonet is just one that probably has a lot of questions because the way it was handled in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like essentially it can never be solved because everything was so mishandled and contaminated and plus it's a 6-year-old girl, so that's tragic.
Yeah, the kids always get me pretty bad. I get emotional. Sometimes we have to like
yeah.
It's horrible. I mean, it's all horrible, but especially.
Well, I wanted to play this game with you called Did They or Didn't They Do It?
Okay.
Like famous true crime case. I'm going to name all famous true crime.
I love it. Figures. I love games.
So you tell me whether you think they're innocent or guilty.
Okay.
OJ.
Guilty.
Okay. Casey Anthony.
Monster. Guilty.
Okay. Michael Peterson.
Guilty.
Okay. Stephen Avery.
This one, I think he's probably innocent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lean more towards guilty.
There are a couple things that I think where they possibly might be guilty, but not the way they said. But I honestly, there are a couple things that I could, with the right person opposite me, I could easily flip-flop, and Stephen Avery is one of them. I just think his first case was so mishandled that the Manitoba police had so much drive to frame him.
Are you talking about the one back in the rape charge back in the 80s?
The one that he served time for.
Yeah. No, he didn't do that. I mean, he didn't do that.
No, I know, but he served time for it, and then he turned around and sued them. And I mean, it was just yes. So yeah, Stephen Avery. I feel like Brandon Dassey, absolutely. That was some of the most skewed. That was I love interrogation videos. That interrogation video almost brought me to tears because I think it was, he is clearly has special needs. He has, a lack of intelligence and a lack of awareness that is not his fault. He was put in an uncomfortable and I think illegal situation. Brandon Dassey upsets me even more than the Stephen Avery. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
so that's a maybe for me.
Yeah, I'll concede on the Brandon Dassey. Like, I'm willing to believe that he has no involvement, but Stephen Avery, like when I looked up the stuff that got left out, it was essentially like what convicted him.
Right.
It's just like, oh.
But here's a big question that I always go back to. Would Kathleen Zellner ever taken the case if she thought he was guilty?
I don't want to sound like I'm talking ill about Kathleen Zellner, but if she wanted publicity,
she doesn't need it though. I mean, she's got so much money. She's worth tens of millions of dollars.
I know, but if
maybe. All right, what's another one? Let's keep going.
Okay, I had a bunch in my head. There's a big one I'm saving for last.
Okay.
Adnan.
Innocent.
Same.
Yeah.
Jeffrey MacDonald. They just did it on the TCO Patreon.
Wait, which one is that?
The guy who is in prison for killing his wife and 2 kids. The Chris Watts of the 70s.
I didn't listen to that one. What do you think?
He did it.
Which episode is that?
It was on TCO Patreon. It's the new the series of Wilderness of Error.
Wilderness of Error. You know what? I know they just dropped the 5th episode and I haven't listened to it. I like to listen to them in order and I haven't listened to that one yet. Don't tell Patrick. I haven't listened to that one yet.
Patrick, if you're listening, she listened to it already.
I listened to it already.
All right. All right, I'll go with the big one last. Big one here.
I know which one it is.
Scott Peterson.
Yeah, I have a really, really, this is my case. This is the case that I could dive on over and over and over again. So I have 2 feelings. I think he's innocent, but he might have been a part of a plot to kill her, but he did not kill her. He absolutely did not kill her. He might have hired someone to do it and might have been a part of it, but I do not think he murdered her. And I made a TikTok about this, and I had people telling me I was crazy. You're a crazy bitch. What is your problem? You want to fuck Scott Peterson? Like, I had so much hate from it. And I was like, there are so many things. I could probably make a 10-part podcast about the inconclusiveness of the evidence and the media circus around Scott Peterson and how he absolutely did not get a fair trial. Listen, if he did it, that means justice was served. But my only point is, what if it wasn't? What if it wasn't served? And what if the person who murdered that beautiful woman and her unborn baby is still out there? What are your thoughts?
I agree with you. And yeah. I've gotten I don't put it out there a lot because I know it's one I'll get backlash on.
Totally.
And let me say this, I think just because I think he didn't do it doesn't mean I don't think he's a piece of shit.
Oh, absolutely. Piece of shit.
The guy's fucking garbage.
Absolutely. Cheated on his wife, lied. Absolutely.
Tried to keep the affair going.
Yep.
While she was he's a scumbag, no doubt, but that doesn't mean he's
a murderer.
Killer.
Yeah.
And she was killed in such a way, like, if this is your first murder, like she was killed in a way like a serial killer killed someone.
Yeah. Yeah, so. You're absolutely right. I feel like and I've never really said this. I feel like real true crime aficionados who actually like understand the case, understand evidence, people who are, weirdos like you and me. I feel like those people side with us, and people who just kind of know headlines and just kind of know the name Scott Peterson are the ones who are, yelling and screaming, absolutely, he did it. But when you really, really dive, and I did have a couple people on TikTok come to me and say, "Why did you say this?" And then they went back and did some dives and listened to a couple podcasts, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I think you're right." But I mean, here's the thing: it was so tragic, and all any real true crime lover wants is justice for victims. I mean, no matter how much, Patrick and I or Jillian or Patrick or anybody who makes a comedy true crime podcast laughs about it, the thing we all want is justice. And the thing we all want are the bad guys to be paying for the crimes. So all I can say to people is, you know, but if they
Hey,
do, then fuck him. You know what I mean? Die behind bars, dude. But
can you say, because you froze up right when you said, all I want to say to people is,
oh, I don't even know what I said. I don't listen to myself. I said all I want to say to people is that if we just want justice. That's all anybody wants. We as people want the guys who did the bad things to serve time, to pay for the crimes that they committed. But there are, I mean, do you listen to Unjust and Unsolved? I think Maggie Freeling is such an amazing journalist. She's so incredible, and it just shows how many innocent people are behind bars. It's absolutely nauseating. And something else I talk about on the podcast is the 40,000 people who are in prison for marijuana charges, nonviolent marijuana charges, when marijuana is legal in almost half of the states in the United States. I mean, there's so many things wrong with the justice system, but we just want justice. That's all we want. We want justice for victims.
absolutely. Yeah, I think that, yeah, that's why I was saying that one for the end, because that
Yep.
goes big.
That's the one. That's the one. That's a really polarizing one for sure.
Yeah.
But I do think people that are in the know side with us. I think, that's a blanket statement.
Yeah, and they said, as long as you acknowledge that he's a scumbag.
Oh, I mean,
I think I saw your response, but like, he's a narcissist and probably a sociopath.
oh, absolutely. Without question. And, again, Patrick and I actually talked about this. That famous picture that they have of him smiling at her vigil?
Yeah.
There's I mean, that is such bullshit. It's not like he was going around laughing. Somebody say, there are people who joke in sad times, and someone snapped it and changed the narrative. And yes, he is 100%. And if you could go to jail for being a piece of shit, narcissist, liar, cheater, scumbag, he should be in jail. Absolutely, no question in my mind. And yeah. And someone said I thought that he was hot, and that's why I don't think that's where Patrick and I differ. Patrick can see beyond the garbagey. I cannot.
I'm the same, like, with other guys who say Casey Anthony is hot, who say Jodi Arias is hot. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Sorry, I'm not attracted to psychopaths.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to live, Joe. I think that's a good way to live.
Or maybe I am, and that explains a lot.
All right.
Let's get into some musical aspects. I want to talk about one thing. You don't have to go into like the nitty gritty details of this, but I was blown away when, I forget what episode it was, but you and Patrick were talking about, like, the most famous person I ever dated was Robbie Williams.
Yeah.
And I think I'm one of the only straight men in America who is a big Robbie Williams fan. And that's
Oh, are you?
I am. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm a Robbie Williams fan. I'm one of the few people in America who knows about Take That
Hmm.
more than like their one hit here.
Right.
But I was like, really? I'm like, how did that happen?
We met at a bar in New York. So this is I'll tell this, it's a really funny story. We were at a bar and my friend who's a music director was going to a party at this bar on Ninth Avenue, totally not even a pub even. And he said, I have to go to this party. I can't tell you who it is. Just come with me. I said, okay. And it was James Blunt. And James Blunt had rented out the top part of this pub. I never met James Blunt. So I went with my girlfriend, Lauren, and we're like, we're going to a party, James Blunt's party. I mean, I was in jeans and a pink V-neck. The only reason is because somewhere there's a picture of me and Rob the night we met. And I had dated my then future ex-husband at the time who was English. So I knew who Robbie Williams was, but most Americans, circa 2007 did not know who Robbie Williams was and could not pick him up out of a lineup. So we were leaning over the bar and I look at this guy and I sort of double take and I said, "Oh my God, do you know who you look like?" And he didn't say anything. He just put his chin up, like, tell me. I said, "Do you know that singer Robbie Williams?" And he said, "Yeah, I am Robbie Williams, love." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, sure, Robbie Williams." Nice to meet you. And then we were joking and bantering. Of course, I thought he was cute. And I said, fine, show me your driver's license. Give me your driver's license, Robert Williams. And I just like froze. And it was Robbie Williams. And it was so funny. But I think that he's, really, really funny. Like he's a funny, funny guy. We just had a blast that night bantering and everything. And he had said, do you want to come back to my hotel? I was like, absolutely not. You are taking me to a fancy dinner before you get any of this ass. Absolutely. So then I think he thought, and we had hung out in New York, we hung out in LA, and we weren't exclusive. I said we dated because we just dated. We never were, exclusive. He was traveling. He was back and forth from Germany. But he was just a lovely guy, like truly a lovely, down to earth guy, sweet, hospitable. He was sober at the time. He was not drinking. He didn't have a drop of alcohol in his house. I went to his house. He showed me his recording studio, and he was just, I have nothing but amazing things to say about him. He was just a sweetheart. He does impressions. I always told him he should have been on Saturday Night Live. And it was just one of those things in life. And I think that he appreciated that. I kind of knew who he was, but I still gave him shit. I didn't treat him like a famous person. He was just a dude I met in a bar. But I have James Blunt to thank for it. And he was just a lovely guy, just really generous. And he thought it was funny that I was poor, because he's so rich. And I said, I'm not poor. I make a living. He's like, yeah, but you're like poor, right? And I was like, well, to you, yes, to you, I'm poor.
I mean, well, early on, he did okay in America early on in his solo career, but
Yeah.
he never like fully took off. So
Yep.
I know that's why he wanted to live here.
Yep. And he can live and he can go anywhere. He can walk down the street. We went to Nobu. He can walk down the street without security. Maybe someone would double take or something, but he can't go. At the time, he couldn't go anywhere in Europe or London without like 4 security guards around him. He was huge. That's why he loved New York and he loved LA. He lived up on Mulholland, and he was just chill as can be.
Yeah, and yeah, I am a fan. I am a big fan of his. And I had someone from the UK on this podcast a few weeks ago, and
you had who?
Someone, her name is Lottie. She's from the UK.
Oh, cool.
But I brought it. It came up to her like, yeah, Robbie Williams isn't that known here.
Yeah,
and she was blown away by it. She was like,
yeah,
like he's like, I don't know, like Justin Timberlake everywhere else.
Totally. Oh yeah. Hugh, I mean, he played stadiums. I mean, it's out of control. But you
Yeah.
would never know it. Super humble, super down to earth, just lovely guy.
Yeah, he's one
Yeah.
of my favorite follows on Instagram.
You know, I don't even follow him on Instagram. I probably should, but I
Because
don't. I
like
know he's married with kids.
he during this during like the thick of quarantine, he was doing like these daily like Corona Oki things on Instagram Live, and where he would just, I don't know, he would talk about like what he was doing, but then he would like we got any requests for songs to do,
He's funny, right? He's a
and
funny guy.
he would every day he did angels at
I'm
least one.
loving it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Has he ever done his Sean Connery impression on his lives?
I haven't seen all of them.
He does a great Sean Connery. But yeah.
I do a great. It wasn't coming out good there, but I'm tired of shaving your ass. I'm surprised you even made it through puberty. That's from The Rock.
I love that movie. That was shot in San Francisco when I was like a little kid. Great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was shot on Alcatraz.
Yeah, such a good movie.
What do you have any like funny musical stories?
I mean, there's so many stories. I mean, being on Broadway for a really long time, things, go wrong all the time. I think that's why people love live theater, just because the possibility that something could go wrong. And it does. And, I miss it. It was, when Instagram stories became really popular, I started documenting a lot of things backstage, because I think people really love that little peep into the backstage world and our backstage life. And, Broadway is very serious. I mean, we're mounting multi-million dollar, shows. People are paying so much money, saving their money to come see shows. It's never lost on us how important live theater is, and how important the live experience is, and how special it is to people. I used to have a director that used to say, don't forget someone is seeing their first and their last Broadway show tonight. So it's really magical, but also it's just really fun. And we just, used to, something happens and you laugh, and, it's really fun and funny. It's a constant laugh fest. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time away from your family. You work holidays. People come to the theater on Christmas, and people come to the theater on New Year's Day, and people come to on your birthday. So you miss a lot of things in terms of that. But yeah, loads of funny stuff happen all the time. Mishaps are the best.
Is Broadway's a big dream from you from the beginning?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was my dream as a little girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. It's nice.
What was your favorite
nice
show? Broadway show?
that I was in, or when I was little?
Both. When you were little, and then when you got into.
So when I was little, I just loved Barbara Streisand. So I loved Hello Dolly. I would watch The Wizard of Oz, Annie, the Annie with Carol Burnett. So I loved all those. I mean, my mom could tell you I ran those VHS tapes into the ground. And then I honestly couldn't pick a favorite Broadway show I was in. They're all, it's everyone comes at a different point in your life. We won the Tony, we won the Grammy, we were on the Macy's parade, we were on the Today Show, all these things that, are things you always dream of doing. But I mean, I love have healed me in a time that I was, at my lowest. And yeah, it's just, that my Rose Tattoo was my last show that I closed in January.
Yeah.
And there's a chance Rose Tattoo is my last Broadway show. So
I
We just
hope
have to see.
not.
I mean, I hope not either, but we don't know what the future of live theater holds for us. So we just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been a goal of mine to come see a Broadway show, and I hope it gets to be one with you in it.
I hope so. I hope so,
Yeah,
Joe.
yeah, the closest I came to anything Broadway is in high school choir. We sang "Seasons of Love" from Rent at one
Yeah.
point.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Patrick, when he was in high school, he used to take the bus to New York and camp out to get the $20 tickets to Rent, because Rent was the first one to do the sort of camping out thing. And he was just a little theater nerd waiting to see theater. Very sweet.
Oh,
Yeah.
has Patrick ever done theater?
He
I've
majored in theater when we were in college. He was Juan Perón in his high school production of Evita. But Patrick kind of, Patrick, thing. He also is not very good at following directions, as you may have noticed. These are all things he has said. I am not talking out of school, but so I think, yeah.
I'm sorry. This freezes up at
Oh,
times. I need to put that warning on the video.
oh, okay. All right, no worries.
No, for the most part, this has gone great, and I want to get Patrick on here sometime to get his rebuttal. Or
Okay, all right. Well, he's harder to get a hold of than me because he doesn't like to sit still for very long.
he's the one running a whole network too.
Yeah, he works really, really hard.
So,
Yes.
and it was an honor. I love Patrick. It's an honor to be called hot by him, and it's an honor that people call me the straight Patrick in the Facebook group. So,
Oh, that's very, very sweet. I'm sure he loves, we both have such a love for, the obsessed family and just everyone. And it's fun getting to know everyone in, little ways, and seeing everyone and seeing everyone's family and, pets and side projects. And yeah, we just want to support everyone as much as we can for being so supportive to us.
yeah, and I don't think I mentioned this earlier. I love that about the Facebook group. Like, it's not just all related to the podcast.
Right.
It's people coming in saying, "Hey, I had a fucked up day today." Someone say something
Right.
funny, or
I know.
like, give me some reassurance, or I've
Well,
done that.
yeah, of course. We're all so
People,
low. And sometimes, it is very strange because sometimes you don't want to put that on your personal Facebook group. Maybe you have coworkers or, family members that you don't want to know things. So it's kind of feels like a separate little family that you can turn to, that you might, people, I feel like people do really post things, seeing your business. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I
I I
do.
know I know I've done it. Like, it was after something you said in the Molly Bish episode where you're talking about the bonds that older brothers have with their younger sisters. And I
Mhm.
posted that I had a younger sister who died by suicide, and
I remember that. Yeah.
that like you saying that in that episode touched me in that moment. I almost started crying at work,
Oh.
but I came and said that, and then you were the first to comment saying how.
Yeah.
So
I
you
mean, you know,
that's what I love specifically about you and Patrick, how open and how much you're willing to communicate with everyone.
oh,
And
thank you. That means a
like,
lot.
you're like truly our friend.
Yeah, I
And
am. I want to be.
and especially after the hard time we've had this past year, we've all become a family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can't wait for I want to come to Breckenridge when
We
that
got to
happens.
do Breckenridge. We were going to have live shows everywhere. Patrick and I both love last year. Um, I had to cancel a couple little trips, and so I'll go anywhere they want us to come. I'll go. Yeah, but absolutely. No, it's great, and I'm you know, the every episode hits me in a different spot. People often ask, what episode, is my favorite, or what episode do I think about? And the truth is I think about them all for different reasons. And they're such but just, how precious everything is, and how everything can change in a moment. I mean, look at us this past year. One day we were all out, and the next day we did not see our friends and our family anymore. So the time is so precious, and aging is a privilege. So
Yeah, and but those times will come again. I've been optimistic, especially since we've had this takeover.
I know. Yeah.
Like it's been it's just been such. I feel like as soon as January 20th comes, which is my sister's birthday,
Wow.
by the way.
Oh wow. What a bittersweet day.
This past one would have been her 30th. So
yeah.
This
that's kind of magical though.
Yeah.
On her 30th birthday, the world kind of changed, I'm sure.
On her 26th was the
other way.
Bad one.
Yeah.
But no, this like 30 is the milestone age, and
yeah,
it felt like fate.
That does. Yeah. That seems very kismet. That seems like the way it should be. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm sure that's something I'm sure you think about her every day.
Absolutely. And yeah, I have my OWD family.
Yeah.
Help me get through it. And friends and family in my everyday life. It's been 12 and a half years. Mm-hmm. Hard to believe, but
yeah, I know. That I'm sure that time, I'm sure, time is so crazy, because I'm sure that just feels like yesterday that you felt that heartache, but then probably seems like she's not been with you for so long.
It's hard. I don't cry a ton like I used to. I mean, I have moments where it hits me, but I can talk about her more easily now. Mm-hmm. And like I'm doing here.
Yeah. I think that's good, to talk about her and, keep her, not that you would never keep her spirit alive, but just kind of.
Yeah.
Put something in the group a while ago. You just said, I'm having a really bad day today. And I think, you said, I feel a little low. And I just think normalizing that, or normalizing saying, I really miss my sister today. And just reaching out when you feel those things, rather than suppressing it and pushing it down and ignoring it, just kind of saying, you know what, I need a little bit more today. I need a little bit more support. I'm thinking about her a little bit more today. And I just think normalizing that behavior, and normalizing all of our trauma, because, we've all had it in some form. And we all know loss, and we all know hurt. And I think reaching out and having a community like that is just such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And you talk about how she's always going to be with me. This is for the video.
Okay.
So people listen on audio. Sorry, there's going to be a little bit of dead air here, but this is how she's always with me.
Okay. Oh, I'll explain it. Oh my gosh, he's showing me a tattoo on his arm, and it actually, honestly, Joe, it looks like a picture.
That is from her senior class picture. Her high school senior class picture.
She's beautiful, really beautiful. I mean, honestly, you're gonna have to put that in the group, because it looks like a picture on his arm, but that's really special.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm sure she would be very happy that her birthday fell on Inauguration Day this year.
But no, we got me along with my parents got that on what would have been her 18th birthday, which is her first birthday after she passed.
Uh-huh.
And we did we did it as a way to honor her, but also she she had been in an argument with my dad about wanting to get a tattoo, and he's like, "Well, while you're under 18, you're not. I don't want you getting one." And she's like, "Well, as soon as I turn 18, I'm getting a tattoo."
Right.
And then so we did that on what would have been her 18th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So my dad got that same portrait, but he got it down here
Uh-huh.
on the floor, and my mom got I think uh on her like back shoulder a quote from a poem she wrote.
Beautiful. That's
So,
such a nice way to commemorate her and keep her memory alive between you guys.
yeah. So,
I have to scooch because I teach today on Sunday. So if there is anything we want to wrap up, I'm so grateful that you wanted to chat with me today.
um now I don't want to keep you too long for what you got to do, but this was fantastic. I love you so much.
Oh, I
You
love you. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad
mm,
that you are doing this, and I'm just so proud of you, and I think it's awesome, and you're such a sweet, lovely person. You are always so respectful and lovely and loving and supportive. And I can't thank you enough for how wonderful and open and generous you've been towards me. So I thank you so much.
yeah. And I love you too, Patrick. Get all don't think I'm not thinking
Patrick
about
today.
don't don't think I'm not thinking about you, Patrick. You can come on when you have free time. You can come on here and talk with me too.
Well, thank
Ew,
you so much, Joe.
thank you, and thank you for listening, everyone. And Ellen, you can come back and do this again sometime, anytime.
When my daughter's not here, because when she is, she won't give me a moment's peace, but which I
Yeah.
love because soon she's gonna hate me. I know that. I know that.
And I know if I ever do this with Patrick, like Daisy will interrupt,
Absolutely,
but I
yes.
don't mind that. Like it's always makes me smile when she comes on Friday Night Live
I
or
know, she's so
when
cute.
she appeared in Trivia Night.
I know she popped on for a second. Thank God Daisy
Yeah.
Speedy didn't. All right, thank you, Joe.
Okay.
All right, sweetheart.
Bye.
Bye.